Along with our chat about our core muscles, we then got into talking a little bit about the bandhas. Bandha is a Sanskrit word. It means lock, to hold, or to tighten. And there are three main bandhas in our yoga practices that you may hear occasionally that teachers will say. You don't have to use these exact words. You can describe them in more English or anatomical terms, or not at all. Just know that these are there. So we talked about Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha. Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha are the more common ones that you'll hear. Think about the yogi picture of someone sitting in lotus pose with their belly sucked in, chin tucked, and their super posture, and their hands are out, and they're all meditating like Superman, but not Superman, like a super monk or something. So think about that sort of visual picture in your mind, like the person who sits and meditates and who does this for a living, and they have all the postural alignment. It looks like they're lifting up. It looks like they're levitating. So thinking about that, like what would it feel like if you were to lift up, to feel that way? And the bandhas can sort of make you feel like that. You're not going to actually levitate, but imagine yourself doing so. Mula Bandha, just like Mula, Dara, chakra, is the root. Mula Bandha, root lock. Mula means root, Bandha means lock. So it's a lifting action of the pelvic floor. We did get into a little conversation about how some of us who have stuck points or who are working through some pelvic floor issues may not need that engagement. It might actually be better for them to release or relax that area of their body. So I don't necessarily like to talk on this a whole lot with Mula Bandha and saying you have to engage all of the time, because for some people that's just not true. But Mula Bandha is that lock, that lift, that it says it should be held throughout your entire practice. But again, depending on your circumstances, I can't say that for sure. But it is that uplifting root lock. Imagine yourself levitating. Uddiyana Bandha is a core lock. Your core should be engaged through most of your practice, which for me is a lot of the reason why I don't believe that you have to have a lot of targeted abdominal core work in your practice, because you're working your core and having that core lock in and up the entire time, or should be anyway. Drawing in towards the spine, towards your midline. That's what flexing your feet back pulls everything in towards that midline and creates that Uddiyana Bandha, that core, that belly lock. Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha work to expand the rib cage, of course, the thoracic capacity, which promotes like deeper and fuller breath. So you can also work on that deeper and fuller breath as you engage Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha. So working on those together, the upward lifting motion, full breath, can really help your breathing aspect of your yoga practice. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. The next one I have on here is Jalandhara Bandha. That's just that like pulling in of your chin, like back, keeping your head in line with the spine, and then a gentle tuck of the chin. There are other bandhas out there too, like Hasta Bandha. That's when your hands pull in together. You're locking your hands in when you're pressing on the floor. Hasta is hand. Bandha is lock, hand lock. We've got Pada Bandha, where you press into the feet. So Pada is foot, Bandha is lock, so you press into the feet. There's your Pada Bandha. We just don't have to say these particularly in our yoga practices or when we're teaching them. They're just there. The fourth one we have on this list on the worksheet is Maha Bandha. It's Sanskrit, it means great. It's the combination of all three of the Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha. So if you'd like to teach these in your classes, if you're a Sanskrit speaker, please, awesome, go ahead. More so, just knowing that from your midsection, you should be pulling in and lifting up and feeling all of your movement stem from this core lock, or this trunk section, which is the section that we're going through with our anatomy. So bandhas, locks, get to know them, look more into them, and enjoy.